Hi fellow book readers! It's been a while, and it's been a while especially doing a book haul. Since doing it last time, I've got quite a few books on my shelves. Some of them I did pick up secondhand. I will say which ones. That's amazing that I'm finally getting some books secondhand as well. Let's just start. My first China Medieval is of course the Perdido Street Station, probably the most popular one by this author. It is science fantasy, weird fiction, and that's something I want to get more into. Just weird things, creepy things are up my alley, so sounds interesting. All I know is there might be some insects or insect people, and I read recently Tainaron, which was about this insect city, a short novella, and yeah, of course I want to read more in that style. Sounds like this might be it. Most people love this one. The other books of this author I saw are more hit and miss, but I think everybody rave about this specific book. Between Two Fires is a medieval horror, which sounds amazing. I want to give it a try. I already read two books by this author. I really liked one and also really liked the other one, even though the potential wasn't fulfilled. I am more than happy to give another chance with this book. Most people said it was awesome. Already looks interesting with the bright cover and skeleton in armor. I do not like big paperbacks, but I could not get my hands on this, and this was the only available one. It was nowhere else, and actually a few weeks after I bought this book, it just went out of stock. I'm just happy I got it in time and have it in my collection. My major was Korean studies, and I think I saw some Korean sci-fi books already, but I just didn't see any people talking about any Korean fantasy, so I was super excited when I finally came across Korean fantasy. And actually this book is like at least 20 years old, but now it's being translated also in English, and this specific one is in Czech language. The first book, Wierzch Srdci, or Tower of Hearts, as well as Sen Válečníka, or Dream of the Warrior. I already love the art. This is a fantasy story with tons of Korean elements. And yeah, just having it on my shelves feels super satisfying. If you know any translated Korean fantasy or sci-fi as well, please let me know. I would love to check it out. Obviously, secondhand book I have here is by Noah Gordon, The Physician. I've read that there's at least one movie made from this book. Honestly, I don't know about you, I have never heard about this one ever. This is historical fiction, and this is nice, chunky book. A little bit of a crook spine, but it's fine. If it's gonna be a good story, just this medieval cover. Sometimes I just want some good historical fiction and medieval story. My third book in the Critical Role collection is What Doesn't Break. This is from the Bell's Hells campaign, and it's a story about Lonna and her background. That's all I know. It's interesting that each of these books has different author, which can be good, because I read only the first one. I didn't like it, honestly. I still have it because Critical Role. I didn't like it. I didn't like the writing. I didn't like the story. Didn't read the other one, but I hope especially this one is gonna be good, because Lonna was my favorite character for a long time in the third campaign. And I love Marisha. I have a photo with her. And her signature, amazing. Cozy sci-fi, that's what I think when I look at this book. Monk and Robot by Becky Chambers, or Some of the Wild Build and A Prayer for the Crown Child. It's these two books in one book, because they are shorter book. They were all only in hardbacks, and I was excited. It's in paperback, both of them. It's more affordable. I prefer the original covers, of course, but this is still cute, and I love to have it in my collection, because actually I already read it, or I did the audiobook, which was great. So this is only the second book that I purchased physically after already reading it, and the other one was also by Becky Chambers, so that speaks for how much I like her writing and her stories. I also got the second book of the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers, A Closed and Common Orbit. I didn't read the first one yet, but I'm still gonna collect them because I know I love her books. I hate the permanent sticker. What can you do? It's fine. Another one that I've heard some good things and then some not great reviews is Tau Zero by Paul Anderson. I just honestly wanted to collect more sci-fi that is not a space opera, and specifically sci-fi standalones for some reason. So I really picked up a few of those. This one I don't know much about, I don't remember what was said, but it is an epic voyage. The spaceship cannot slow down and they reach light speed, and of course the dilation of time. It's different for them on board and different for the outside world. This concept, that's all I know from what's written here, and that already sounds like interesting situation to put the main characters in, so I want to read about that. Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon is another sci-fi standalone I was happy to pick up secondhand. This one is intriguing already because the start of the book is supposed to be this elderly woman who is in some colony on another planet, and the whole mission is like put on hold, or like, we're done here, we're gonna do something else elsewhere. And she's literally the only person that is like, nah, my life is gonna end soon, I don't wanna travel anymore, I'm just gonna stay here all alone, and that's fine with me. What she hopes for is she's gonna live out her life peacefully in this old abandoned colony. However, maybe after all, the planet wasn't as abandoned as they had thought at first. So probably she's not there alone. She will meet some new life form, I guess. And then I will read what happens, because I don't know. I do want to note that the font in this book is really awful, and I hope I won't have a headache from it. Another book I got secondhand is Vagabonds. This is a pretty thick sci-fi book. There's a group of teenagers sent to Earth from Mars as ambassadors, and that's kind of all I know. I'm not reading the whole blurb because sometimes there's spoilers. Once again, I wanted more sci-fi standalones. Love that it's also by an Asian author, so I just grabbed it. Yeah, I'm intrigued already. That's all I know. That's all I need. I'm going for it. What really irks me is the sticker. You might see is actually not permanent sticker, but it's so like stuck to the book. I understand why the person before me didn't try to get it off, because it would look even worse without it. I can already tell if you can get it off without damaging the book or getting off the whole thing. City of Pearl is another sci-fi I got secondhand, which is great because I wasn't able to actually buy it. It was amazing to get it for like €3, very cheap, secondhand, great condition. What do I know about this book? Of course, there's humans, there's some aliens, and what intrigued me is climate should be a topic in this book, or climate change. And also some people really hated this book and got pissed off simply because one of the aliens, I guess, is like literally kind of like vegan or vegetarian, like he refuses to eat meat, and that just triggered some people. As I'm plant-based, that just made me chuckle, and I wanted to pick up this book even more. Happy to have it physically, actually. I will let you know if it's good. Another sci-fi standalone that is sci-fi horror actually is by Renan Bernardo, and it's Disgraced Return of the Cap's Needle. I saw this on fellow bookstagrammers post. It sounded interesting. I picked it up physically. I want to try some sci-fi horror. Sounds good. It's a short book. I know that there's this spaceship and the crew who is actually, they are returning from some failed mission that they had been sent on. So they are returning in disgrace. And then stuff happens, I guess, like the main character has a child, a daughter or someone. Stuff is gonna happen and she just wants to protect the child. And some horror is gonna happen. Gonna read it maybe soon because it's so short also. Sounds great. This is the first book I have from River Solomon. It's Sorrow Land. I've seen this on the Plant-Based Brides YouTube channel. She was talking about this book and some other books from this author, and she enjoyed them, so I wanted to give it a chance. This is gothic horror. It's described as gothic horror. Not many reviews. The reviews are maybe like some positive, some negative, so curious where this one is gonna go. Sometimes I want to try something a little bit different, so this is what I would pick up. Another secondhand book, Ghost Music by Anil. It's literary fiction, magical realism, some mushrooms are involved. I don't know much else. I don't need much else. Pretty short book. I will let you know what I think when I read it. Some of you might know that I really liked Sayaka Murata's Earthlings, which is kind of a fucked up book, really fucked up, lot of trigger warnings. And if you're not into that, then I would say pick up Convenience Store Woman, as I did now, because it's said and it has been described as toned down version of Earthlings. So this was written first, then Earthlings, but the messages in these books are kinda similar, at least some of them. The theme I know definitely is gonna be here is not fitting into society and the standards, people trying to judge the main character for who she is because she refuses to conform to their norms. That's my guess. Super short book, nice bright cover. I want to read more by this author. The first one from the Vintage Earth collection I have is The Wall, which I've seen this one on Emily's channel and she enjoyed this book. It's about a woman who takes a holiday in the Austrian mountains and she ends up being trapped alone behind this invisible wall. And there's a cow and something else. She has to survive and I have no idea how it ends. I will find out when I read it. Interesting, even though potentially boring, so definitely I need to give it a try and see. The Man Who Planted Trees is part of the Vintage Earth collection, so I wanted to expand. You can already see I read this one, tabbed a few things. It was nice, little, tiny read. Like the cover, it's about trees. What can go wrong? This adorable, beautiful yellow book is Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. So it's really short book. I think most of us learned about this in school. It can be disturbing to people, but I wanted to give it a try and read the whole thing now that I'm adult. Also, this has element of insect because the person transforms into this insect, huge insect-like creature. Yeah, I wanted to read the whole thing, give it a try, and weird, creepy things are up my alley. Since I really enjoyed all 3 of the prehistorical books that I have and read already, I decided to pick up more books that are prehistoric non-fiction. One of them is Extinctions by Michael J. Benton. As you can tell, this should be a book that explores, talks about all the major extinction events life has gone through and had to survive, what caused the extinctions and the impact of it. That's what the book is about. Another book in this category is Why Evolution is True. I honestly don't know how this book goes. It's about evolution. I want to read about that. And that's that. I was surprised by this cover because I saw these other covers and what arrived was totally different cover, which I think is the most boring, but it's okay. Another book, again by Michael J. Benton, is The Dinosaurs Rediscovered. So another dinosaur book specifically about dinosaurs. And I guess it talks about the new information that we get throughout the years and the changing perspective about dinosaurs and their life, from this pathetic lizard scrambling on land to really living, breathing creatures with different behaviors that are more like today's animals. Since I've gotten myself into non-fiction this year, even though it's always a specific non-fiction, even for me, specific topics that truly interest me, I decided to branch out from just prehistoric fiction to try out something else. And to me, space and universe and maybe aliens, other life forms possibly living out there is really interesting topics. Sometimes it's on the verge of like really physics and not very readable book for general audience, so those books are not for me. But especially since reading and loving 16 Zoo 3 Body Problem trilogy, I was excited to pick up Alien Earths by Lisa Katlenegger. As you can tell maybe by the title, it's a book that explores the search for alien life and maybe what other planets there are, the possibility of being habitable, and these topics. So really interesting. It's not a long book. I'm happy to start my little space non-fiction collection with this one. Another random non-fiction that I picked up is historical non-fiction, and it is Midnight in Chernobyl. I've seen this one recommended by 1 or 2 people. They said they really enjoyed this book. I was intrigued. Of course, I watched a TV show about Chernobyl and I thought it was very well made. It felt almost real. It is really hard, kinda depressing topic. And trust me, I know my country is literally on the border with Ukraine, so I understand that. However, it is an important topic in many ways. It was well written TV show and I was intrigued to read about it in book form, so I picked this one up. Maybe I will give it away after I read it. Those were all the books I got since my last haul unboxing video. I'm happy to have them all. I've read only 2 of them, so all these new books I can read on my shelves. Exciting. Tell me which is the newest book you got, which is the most exciting book you got or the most fancy one. I don't really buy pretty editions. I'm happy with my smaller paperbacks. Those are my favorite. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned because I'm gonna be doing also my first unhaul, and I'm gonna be reorganizing my shelves as well because I had it only fantasy, sci-fi, all the other things in one place. I've got more books now and I need to organize them better because it's just a mess after. I hope you will stay and see that happen. Gonna be interesting. Keep reading books and see you next time.